One night after leaving the gym, I stopped by a restaurant to pick up a bowl of soup. The cashier took my order, then, somehow recognizing me, he blurted out that he was reading my first book, The Inner Gym. The Inner Gym was a 5-year labor of love that I self-published and released with practically no marketing. And this was one of the rare times that I crossed paths with a complete stranger who told me he was reading it. I asked where he was in the book, and he said he was on the chapter about gratitude. And it made me realize how much work went into he and I having that one little interaction. We're talking 2 years of resistance around the idea of even writing a book, followed by 3.5 years of writing it, in addition to a seemingly endless barrage of edits, second guesses, and rewrites. The only thing that seemed to come easily during the process was the temptation to quit. But that experience in the cafe reminded me to send the author some additional words of encouragement. So on my walk home with my soup in hand, I spoke to my younger self, sitting on that couch in 2013, struggling to complete the book, wanting to give up. And I whispered to him to keep going. I told him, "You're doing something that will help people and that the world is waiting." I believe that everything is happening all at once, and we have the power to transcend the present and inspire our past and future selves. Who knows? Maybe that inner voice we hear sometimes, encouraging us to keep going and not give up, is us. The part of us who has already witnessed the impact of our work. If you're working on a passion project now and it's taking you some time to make progress and you're tempted to give up, try this. The next time you meditate, envision a future moment when you meet someone who is sincerely helped by what you created. Use that image to muster up a little added courage and stamina to see your project through to the end. And once complete, don't forget to let your younger self know how much it was worth it, and by all means to keep going, because the world is indeed waiting.
I need you to take us back to this line. I believe that everything is happening all at once, and we have the power to transcend the present and inspire our past and future selves. How does this work? This belief that everything is happening all at once. This is really intriguing to me.
Well, again, this is my theory. I'm not a quantum physicist. This is just my theory. But
yes, but you are a quantum leaper. So
I think it kind of makes sense to me. It just feels like that could be what's happening because, I had an experience when I was a teenager. I grew up in Alabama, and there wasn't any big bodies of water around where I grew up because I grew up in Montgomery, which is in the middle of the state. So I didn't really learn how to swim when I was a kid. And the first time I saw the ocean, I was in my early teens. And I remember wading out into the water. And at that point, I had watched Jaws probably one too many times. So I was petrified of whatever I couldn't see that was in the water. And next thing I know, my feet were not touching the bottom. And so I tried to move back towards the shore, and I kept going further and further out. And then I started trying to swim back towards the shore, even though I wasn't a swimmer. I didn't know how to swim. So I was just moving my arms and legs in the direction of the shore. And I kept going further and further out, and I didn't know what was going on, but I started panicking. And I heard this inner voice say to me to swim to the side. Just said, stop trying to go directly towards the shore and start swimming to the side. And I reoriented my body so that it became parallel to the shore, and I started moving my arms and legs. And then I started getting closer and closer to the shore. And then I came out of the water, and I didn't know what had happened. And then later on, this is before the internet and all of that, later on I was looking in the encyclopedias, and I found out that I had been caught up in a riptide. And the thing that you do when you're in a riptide is you turn and start swimming to the side, right? That's how you navigate a riptide. And there's no way I could have known that beforehand because, again, I didn't know what a riptide was. I didn't know anything about the ocean. But it was the voice that told me to swim to the side was so clear that I could hear it even in the midst of my panicked state. And I always think back to that moment, again, as a point of reference where now I know what that is. I know what a riptide is. And if I could go back and advise my younger self on what to do, that's exactly what I would tell him to do. And I think maybe life is kind of like that movie Groundhog Day, where you get to do experiences over and over until you get them right. And so yeah, my theory is that we get to speak to our younger selves and maybe even our future selves and impart wisdom to help us navigate the world just a little bit easier.